Jaki jest punkt wyjścia dla innowacyjnych produktów i usług? Potrzeba, przeczucie, idea i ludzie, którzy powiedzą: to możliwe, zróbmy to.
Ale entuzjazm to nie wszystko. Potrzebujesz maszyn i narzędzi.
Potrzebujesz materiałów i przestrzeni do próbowania.
Przestrzeni do zmieniania i próbowania na nowo.
Potrzebujesz w każdym punkcie skończonego produktu lub usługi.
I miejsca, by je skończyć.
A potem
Pokazać ludziom, przetestować i poprawić.
aż trafisz w punkt.
Dzień dobry Państwu, witamy serdecznie. Mamy nasze ostatnie spotkanie w ramach cyklu Discover LAB150. Dzisiejsze spotkanie będzie z Fransem Joziassem, ale jeszcze będę przedstawiała Fransa za chwilkę. Chciałam teraz jeszcze troszkę podsumować cały ten nasz cykl. Dotychczas spotykaliśmy się z ekspertami z całego świata, którzy opowiadali o tym, czym jest proces projektowy i poszczególne jego etapy. Był z nami Bill Barnett, który mówił o roli designu ze Stanford University. Była Julia Izmałkowa, która mówiła o wadze, istocie badań użytkownika. Była Jurga, która mówiła o prototypowaniu. Był Patrick van der Pie, który mówił o modelach biznesowych. Alain, który mówił o ideacji. I myślę, że wszystkie te wykłady, pewnie nie wszyscy Państwo słuchali ich po kolei, ale pokazały spektrum działań, które możemy realizować dla Państwa w LABie 150. Dzisiaj jesteśmy w wyjątkowej przestrzeni, w prototypowni, za nami fantastyczne maszyny, o nich za chwilkę powie w kilku zdaniach Krzysztof. W międzyczasie, w trakcie tych kilku miesięcy w labie nie próżnowaliśmy. Działaliśmy dla naszych klientów właśnie w tych poszczególnych obszarach różnych zleceń w obszarze badań, ideacji, prototypowania, ale też z jednym z naszych partnerów biznesowych przyszliśmy przez Design Sprint i to jest bardzo ciekawa forma, którą chciałabym Państwa zainteresować w takiej trochę wersji hackathonu, kiedy spotykamy się wszyscy razem. We wcześniejszych etapach zbieramy trendy z konkretnej branży, z konkretnego obszaru, w którym Państwo funkcjonujecie. Mamy też badania użytkowników, a następnie w tej przestrzeni prototypujemy produkty lub usługi, które następnie na przestrzeniach wyżej możemy prototypować, testować z naszym konsumentem. To powoduje też, że często firma, pracownicy, ludzie wychodzą z organizacji, przechodzą do zupełnie innej przestrzeni, co już jakby samo wywołuje pewną kreatywność w zespołach. Dajemy przestrzeń pracownikom do tego, żeby dzielili się wiedzą, żeby współtworzyli rozwiązania, żeby mogli też zweryfikować często swoje myśli o produktach czy usługach z tym konsumentem. To bardzo ciekawa podróż i gdyby Państwo byli zainteresowani tego typu realizacjami, to bardzo, bardzo zapraszamy do kontaktu. Dziś jesteśmy w prototypowni, zatrzymaliśmy park maszynowy na godzinę, żeby mogli Państwo też doświadczyć tych różnych przestrzeni, jakimi tutaj dysponujemy. I w kilku zdaniach Krzysztof Peliński opowie o tym, co tu mamy.
Faktycznie jest tutaj niebywale cicho, ale prototypownia to tak naprawdę miejsce synergii wielu technologii. Począwszy od strefy związanej z drukiem 3D służącym nam do szybkiego prototypowania, przez druk cyfrowy UV, strefę obróbki metalu i to zarówno w formie lasera, jak i obróbki pięcioosiowej, aż po strefę związaną z obróbką tworzyw drzewnych czy różnego rodzaju kompozytów, które mogą być obrabiane w technologiach 3- i 5-osiowych, a skończywszy na strefie termoformowania, która zamyka nam gdzieś możliwości procesowe. Prototypownia to również fantastyczni ludzie, zespół projektantów i technologów, którzy wspierają rozwijanie idei od takiej wczesnej fazy, takiego wstępnego pomysłu przez opracowanie technologii, aż do zaprojektowania gotowego produktu. To wszystko pozwala na wyprototypowanie elementu bądź też fragmentu lub wręcz gotowego prototypu, który możemy poddać dalszym badaniom.
Super. Dziękuję bardzo, Krzysztof, i faktycznie zapraszam do współpracy. Tu jest ogromna wiedza na temat materiałów, na górze jest też biblioteka materiałowa, wobec czego no jest tutaj, to wszystko się przeplata ze sobą i poza takim właśnie parkiem i prototypownią są też osoby, które mają świetne kompetencje do tego, żeby doradzić Państwu na etapie prototypu, doboru materiałów. Zwieńczeniem naszej podróży we wszystkich tych etapach procesu projektowego jest dzisiejsze spotkanie z Fransem Joziassem, doradcą w obszarze strategii, innowacji i zarządzania, innowacją takich marek jak BMW, LEGO czy GlaxoSmithKline. Podczas spotkania Frans przybliży dzisiaj nam tematy związane z planowaniem, mierzeniem się, skalowaniem i ocenianiem innowacji w procesie wdrażania produktów. Powie o tym, na co zwrócić uwagę, by ten proces był efektywny, a rezultat najbliższy oczekiwaniom. Nasz gość jest założycielem Park i Grow, czyli firm doradczych, które zajmują się m.in. rozwojem menadżerów i liderów w obszarze zarządzania procesem projektowym. Dear Frans, I'll switch to English. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation to participate in Discover Lab. I know that you were quite involved at the very early stage of thinking and designing Discover LAB150. So I'm super happy that you also participate at the last phase, of the closing phase of our Discover Lab and the program. This is our last meeting, so I guess there are many people that would like to listen. How do you, in your companies in Park and Grow, work with clients? What cases do you have? What experience you have? Because you have a huge one. So I will probably not extend my welcome too much, and I will just pass the mic to you, and we will meet after for a Q&A session to discuss a little bit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eva, and a pleasure as always to share the work, to share our experience, and also, of course, looking forward a little bit around the future of innovation, specifically in the I would nearby say post-COVID time, but we get the fourth wave now, so it's still COVID time, but that's another thing. I heard you already saying a few things about myself, but I will do this very shortly. Also, a little bit my own background, of course, a professional one, but also my private one. I'm Dutch. This is my grandmother with myself on her lap. So this is the happy boy, and I think I'm still a happy, positive human being, which I think is very important to be when you innovate and when you work with companies that take innovation seriously and take also innovation as a grow scenario. I'm married. I'm 59 years old, and indeed with kind of 35 years experience in the field of design and innovation, 3 kids and 2 lovely dogs. I live in Hamburg, and I show you this picture of the Elbphilharmonie, a huge innovation in terms of a building that has been, I would say, one big prototype with many new technologies and many new things that have never been tried before. I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports, and I'm very much interested in technology here, application of technology in sailing. Eva, I hear you in the background. Sorry for that. Sorry, just to interrupt for a second. I hear you talking in the background all the time. Okay. I will go on. Buddhism, something which is, I think, even important to innovation. what is the focus of innovation? What is the simplicity? What is the simplest way to define what you are going to innovate around? I will come back to that later, but I think that's why I'm so interested in that. Art, of course, creativity plays a very important role in innovation as well, and arts is also a big, let's say, inspiration for many companies and many, let's say, innovators, as artists always try to push the boundaries, like architects do. Architecture, I think, is a profession that, compared to other areas of let's say innovation and design, the building industry is very far and has a long practice around innovation and technology. So we can learn a lot from architecture and architects like Walter Gropius, one of the founders of the Bauhaus. I studied in Delft Technical University product design a long time ago, and also did a master's in business administration, just to know both parts, the design part, the creative part, as well as the business part. Had 10 years long my design agency in Rotterdam, designed all kind of products, like, for example, these street lighting, picture taken in London, street lighting sold worldwide, a very innovative product at that time. And another innovative product, the Project I of BMW, where we were very much involved into organizing the setup, a new setup within BMW to innovate around car technology. I'm also the co-founder of the section Design for Sustainability at the Delft University. And here are some other projects we, for example, did with Patricia Urquela and BMW and Quadrat together. So we consult in the area of innovation and design. That's what Eva already said to you. Companies around the world in very different industries, mid-sized companies, large companies, but actually their challenges are the same. It's about innovation and design visions. How do you create a vision around that? Let's say the big foundation for innovation. And we create papers, strategies for companies that they then can build further on their innovation organization, their processes, etc. In this case, for a North American paper leader. Strategies, so this is really about areas around organization. How do you organize around innovation? I will tell more about that in a second. It's very important to have the right innovation organization to implement and commercialize innovations in the right way. And also you said Lego, I heard, a long-term client. So also, how do you have the right organization and processes and tools in place? Another area where successful companies like Lego, who have its 10th year of double-digit growth based on innovation and design, so that you read really the right processes and tools, as we did for a Danish consumer electronics leader, to create the best way to process and work stream around innovation. It needs a good way to manage this process, to manage your resources, and do that in an organized way. Yes, you need creativity, and maybe you need a piece of chaotic element, but you also need to organize it, because you do this in a commercial environment. So timing and resources are always very important. And finally, culture. How do you create a culture in companies around design and branding? In this case, for the company Nivea, where we helped them over the last years to do a lot of internal communication around their brand. So these are the areas where we execute. When do design innovation add value to the business? It's a combination of two things. It's the right idea generation, and it's the right idea conversion. Today we will mainly talk about conversion, and you can see that only 25 of the companies are both strong in idea generation, and in idea conversion. So many companies that even have great ideas do not successfully bring those ideas well to the marketplace. And I will talk about the success factors, how to be more successful in implementation and commercialization, and what you have to do for that. And by the way, it's not the size of the innovation budget that is a guarantee for business success. It's the way it is led and managed. Research shows again and again and indicates that if you compare two companies in the same industry, that it is not the height of the innovation budget, but the way that budget and the resources are effectively and efficiently managed and led. We will today focus on the implementation and the commercialization. I know you have already had different events also around ideation, design, prototyping, user research, and business modeling, which of course all feed into a good implementation and commercialization. So based on a global research we've done last year among our clients and beyond, we found 10 success factors for innovation, for successful innovation. And some of them sound maybe very open door, and maybe some sound very abstract, and I will tap into most of them. I will not tap into the innovation model and the front-end process, because I assume that is already been dealt with in the other sections, but I will talk about ingraining design thinking, not only as a tool for creativity, but also as a tool for further implementation and commercialization of innovation. Continuous planning, multifunctional teams, multidisciplinary teams, timeframes, and considering different timeframes, and how do you use that in your portfolio planning of all your innovations. Risk management, when you bring innovations to the market, how do you do that? Future competencies, companies that continuous commercialize innovations also have to constantly build new competencies in their company. Be purpose driven. You could say, yeah, that's the very beginning, but often forgotten. And in today's world around sustainable and circular economy, we need to understand what purpose means for companies and how that drives also your being on the marketplace, and not just chunking out products to the marketplace. And the balance between creativity and discipline. Commercializing innovations needs that right balance between creativity and discipline. If it is just creativity, which all the things you do probably in the creation, the design, the business modeling, etc., without discipline, it can go pretty much wrong. So let's have a look at the first one, which is ingraining design thinking. And for each of them, I have an example of a client, and show you how the client uses those success factors in their practice of commercializing and implementing innovation. And I start with Roche, a big healthcare company. And what you see here are workshops that this company executes continuously with innovations that have been launched to the market. Most companies bring new innovation to the marketplace, and they do not follow up. So they maybe get complaints, they maybe have not a big success with a new innovation on the market. And as I know from experience, most companies do not invest money then to really try to understand why a product is successful, why it is not successful, and get the feedback from the user, in this case diabetes diagnosis equipment, and also do not really understand with that feedback the next time what they can learn from that and be better in innovation. So with bringing products to the marketplace and implementing it and doing your right research, not only during the innovation process, but also after launch, invest money into that is a big, has a big return on invest, because you get your right insights back from the marketplace. That will be then insights that you are going to use for your next innovation project. Another thing that Roche does very well with this research is try to extend their innovation. So they mostly start with a product innovation, and then by doing the research, they try to look at product plus and service plus, as they call it. They bring a new product, a new medicine to the market, for example, and then they try to see with good user research on the marketplace after the product has been brought to the market, the new innovation, what can it bring as a product plus? What can we add to the innovation? It can be a new part of the business model, or it can be a digital service that you're going to add as a business model to your start of innovation. So think, expand your innovation to product plus and to a service plus. And this is what they do very well. They start mostly with the diabetes medicine, and they built over the years a whole ecosystem around the medicine, with which they, of course, also lock in customers and patients and extend their business model over years. And this is a planned activity. Which brings to the next thing, continuous planning, not only in terms of planning your research also after the product has been brought to the market. It's also about continuous planning in terms of your innovation and your technology and your design. Bang & Olufsen, long-term client of us, is very good at this. They bring a new loudspeaker to the market, and they know already what the variations on a certain product will be. And they have already a whole portfolio planned in the background that builds upon the original product and then variates on one technology into different designs, different colors, different materials, as to do it in all their product ranges. So it's the same platform, it's the same technology platform, and then they start to extend from that investment on a technology platform to other executions of the design. And this is not something that they do just like because they like it. This is planned in advance. The resources are there. The suppliers have been informed, and it planned it also in terms of implementation to the marketplace. So very important not to see innovation as bringing one innovation to the market, but see it as a portfolio, as an ecosystem of products. Multifunctional teams. In many companies, innovation is embedded in either R&D or in design or in marketing. That's old thinking. If you want to be successful in bringing innovations to the market, you will innovate in a holistic way. What we've done for GSK, a pharma company, is a kind of 7 years ago brought a vision to the company, which was called Design Connection, where all innovations for specific brands are connected in an ecosystem in order that what you bring to the market as an innovation is not only a product or only a packaging or only a point of sale. No, it's a holistic experience. Holistic customer experience is, let's say, the big banner for all innovations at GSK. And that is only possible if you have multifunctional teams, which I'll try to explain with the next example. This was innovation in the past at GSK. So let's assume they bring a new anti-allergic medicine to the marketplace. Bottles are designed, maybe the delivery system is designed, some graphic design, some product design. But of course, that's not enough anymore. You need to innovate around the complete, let's say, holistic experience. And this is how it looks today. At GSK, we have installed multidisciplinary teams, and all these teams deliver to the different touch points of the user-patient experience. And all these functions, the R&D, the shopper marketing people, the expert people, the digital people, the packaging people, the communication people, work together in core teams. And from the beginning, when they bring a new product to the market, or a new brand in this case, they look at it in a holistic way, and they organize the company and all innovation implementation in such a way that also for example, the external partners they work with, their design partners, are managed in a holistic way. And also when it is implemented to, in this case, 180 countries in the world, there is a whole system behind it that in all the countries, the marketing organizations are well informed through a digital asset management system, and all the conditions are well managed there by a multi-functional team. Timeframes are very important. Innovation comes in time. We always make the distinction between different types of innovations, and some innovations go fast, some innovations take longer, and some innovations maybe you don't even know yet how long it will take to bring it to the marketplace. And this is a very important piece of work we did at the very beginning for Lego when we started to work with them, where we made a model for innovation definitions to give them the 3 timeframes, level 1, 2, and 3. So at the vertical X, you see the timeframes. Level 1, incremental, short term. That's at Lego 12 months. Level 2 is adjacent innovation. Another organization in Lego, which is of course connected still to the incremental organization. They look at 2 to 4 or 5 years, and then there is level 3, breakthrough innovation, and that's another team. It's called Future Lab at Lego, and they look at everything beyond 4 or 5 years into complete new business areas. And now those timeframes have different ways of looking at the process. They need different competencies. They have different ways of bringing the products to the market. The level 1 incremental uses all the existing channels, and level 2 and 3 can also innovate on the sales channel, can innovate on the technology platform, etc. So to have these different time frames in place increases the success of market introduction in the right timing with the right resources. And many companies mix these time frames up, which then leads often to big delays in projects. Which also brings to the next point, which is risk management. These 3 timeframes also need different risk management. You cannot have the same risk KPIs for short-term incremental innovation. There you need, of course, probably to earn back or have a return on investment on the market in 12 months. For more breakthrough innovation, probably your investment at the beginning is much higher, but your growth objectives for the future are much higher, and therefore you also need different sets of risk management. For our client Grundfos, the biggest water pump company, we had a big project starting a few years ago where we were talking about around 50 million euros of investment in a completely new range of water pumps. And of course, a company cannot spend that 50 million in once. So you need to mitigate your risk. You need to look at those timeframes. And foremost, you need your KPIs around risk management. And we always build those around 4 areas that for us are kind of the innovation sweet spot for short, mid, and long-term innovation. You have always to think about desirability, viability, feasibility, and sustainability. That is something you put into your briefing. That is something you work through in your process, and that is also something you test and let's say measure against in the marketplace. So be aware that you have your KPIs in place, and that you, for your different kind of innovations, look at different KPIs. And this is just a scoreboard that we made for Bang & Olufsen again. So there we also looked at different KPIs, business impact, process capability, project on time, and projects within budget. So some have to do with implementation, some have to do with the process. Conclusion here is have your dashboard, monitor that, and be clear about the objectives to the innovation teams, and also, of course, to the marketing and sales teams, what your expectations are. Future competencies. For our client Philips, that has created an ecosystem for all their innovations. And they call this the healthcare ecosystem. They want to, let's say, bring innovations to the market in the complete ecosystem, from healthy living, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and home care, different product categories, but also connected innovation platforms. And they are all driven by platforms, and they are driven around 4 experience platforms: a domain experience, a solution experience, a touchpoint experience, and a module experience. And you can already see by the names that you need to develop those well and bring them well to the marketplace, and also bring them, connect them with each other. You need very different capabilities and competencies. Just to give you an example, at Philips Design, there are they have just gone through a recruitment process where in design 9 PhDs in artificial intelligence have been hired, which has to do to bring all these experience areas together, and also in the products on the marketplace. As you can here see some examples, the connectivity of all these devices gets more and more important, and the data in the usage of these innovations by staff and patients on the marketplace gives, of course, Philips a huge advantage compared to competition that maybe bring single products to the market. So if you bring those ecosystems to the market, you always have to be aware of the competencies you need to develop to be successful on the marketplace. Purpose-driven, I would say more and more important. We will have huge consequences because of the Green Deal that will influence and affect all companies in the world very soon, if not yet already. We see already a lot of companies reacting. Adidas, IKEA have just started collecting their furniture and their sportswear back because they want to reuse the materials. Prices of raw material and components go through the roof because the current level of consumption is not possible anymore with the amount of resources and raw materials we have in the world. So we need to do something about that, and we need to be more purpose-driven, and we need to see how can we go from optimizing to integrating to a regenerative circular economy. We have to regenerate and capture value at each stage of the deconsumption. We have to bring back the materials into the cycle, and also we have to look at restoring, repairing, reusing, refurbishing, recycle. Yesterday, Apple has announced that they will now offer repair services to consumers. Up to yesterday, it was not possible by a consumer to repair Apple products by yourself. And now it's possible. They do this very cleverly, Apple, also as a business model. They have to pay for it, but they also do it because of legislation. The law in the UK is already around repairability. It will come to the rest of the EU. If you do not do this in the next 2 years, you will be fined and have to pay money to the EU, to Brussels, if your products are not designed and innovated around repairability. Or even worse, the next 5 years, all companies will be obligatory to bring back the products. So collect them back. Good for you because you can reuse materials, and good for the environment because those products at the end of life cycle will not come into the marketplace. And our client Unilever is very far with that already, both in green products, but also in Loop, the concept to bring packaging back and refill packaging, but also in, let's say, purposeful solutions for children. Very much driven by an overall corporate strategy, but also very successful on the marketplace. But of course, there, the communication, making the consumer aware why a company like Unilever does this and their brands is there very important. It is a premium price. It has to be explained, and the perceived value for the consumer in terms of the innovation and the design has to be clear. Otherwise, it will be difficult to get this premium price. Other companies that do this, just ocean cleanup, collecting the plastics from the ocean. Just you see it everywhere. Our client, Lego Education, brings new creative solutions to the educational world to make education accessible also for the underrepresented in the world. So this is a big movement, and yeah, you will all be in the marketplace confronted with a lot of consumer behavior which will go change, but also legislation. Finally, but not least, creativity and discipline. Yeah, innovation feels like being creative, ideation, design, etc. Of course, also about discipline. Our client Adria Mobile, the biggest manufacturer in Europe around mobile homes and caravans, Slovenian company, a huge range of products. And a big danger for this company is to make one-off products, because the customer wants their own customized, completely modified products. But of course, that has a big danger, because then you start to lose your economy of scale. So you need to be very clear towards your distributors and your clients what customization means and how far do you go. You have to plan this into your innovation portfolio again. You have to plan this into your process with a piece of discipline, meaning that everything that comes from sales and marketing back into the innovation process needs some discipline and needs some clear agreement around how much customization do you allow for, but also where are the boundaries of any customization to lose, let's say, the advantage of economy of scale. Good. So that were 8 of the 10 success factors plus examples from different industries. And Eva, I think that you want to open the floor to some questions. I can't hear you guys. Hello. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I think also the companies that you're working for, like Philips, Lego, or Unilever, they are of course the brands that we would all love to work for, at, in, or whatever, just to cooperate with them.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, and like probably you work also for smaller brands or even family business or local companies. Does it always start with inquiry that is really like innovation driven? Is it always the purpose to implement the innovation? Or if we play a bit with the Lego naming, it starts with something small and then you add some other blocks, and suddenly, of course, you try to structure it and you want you want to have like a holistic view on it. But does it start maybe with a small inquiry and briefing to you, and then how does it look like?
Yeah, okay, so I have a few answers to that question. I think it's a good question. Yeah, you could say, oh yeah, these are all these big companies and that's not us, we are smaller, we're family owned. But first of all, the principles that I've shown, and that's why I've just, again, I don't know whether you can still see my screen, but these 10 success factors are independent on the size of the company. I would say that also a family-owned company or a smaller or mid-sized company should look at those 10 success factors and try slowly, when the company grows and get more professional at innovation, to let's say build those success factors in everything you do around innovation and design. So that's one, and I understand that takes time. Yeah, the case study I showed you for GSK, let's say a very big company, even there it took 5 years to get from this packaging innovation to this holistic innovation. So indeed, also even there, a company that does billions and billions of revenue, we started to look at packaging innovation and even just the branding on the packaging, right? And slowly we build it further. So yeah, a step-by-step approach is always the best approach. You will not install all these success factors overnight. So it will take time. But I would, even with startups and even with small companies, always say try to, over time, plan these success factors in the way you do innovation. At least what we see is if you install them and if you adhere to them, you will be more successful as your competition. And yeah, and probably start with one product, one technology, but also wants to grow. Want to build maybe on the technology more products, and then directly you have to do your innovation management, so to say. Innovation is of course something else, innovation management, and indeed you're right, it starts often with a innovation, but sooner or later you have to manage that. And yeah, so that's a matter of time and how fast the company grows when the moment comes to manage that, to avoid that you're going to spend your resources unwisely. Yeah.
Yeah, also these 10 success factors that you were indicating, I think that's really the model that we would like all to look forward and to implement in our companies, and that's probably when it's the most efficient. It's really when you have all of the ingredients included in your company, then you can really say that your company is innovation driven throughout all the elements that you can have in your company.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also like a step by step way and process. It looks beautiful when you explain it, of course, and we would all like to be there now, but I guess it takes time.
It's hard work. Yeah. So indeed, of course, the disadvantage of 55 minutes explaining it and showing some shiny pictures. I have a lot of gray hair. I'm still energetic, but it is of course a road to achieve that and to work together. Because I would say one of the biggest things that I did not talk so much about, of course, are the people. The people factor, and the companies you work with, and the people in the company that have the drive and that have the vision to do this. Are super important, and by that the pace and let's say the how successful this is finally depends on the people and how much they believe in this and how much they are behind innovation, becoming innovation driven, and that sometimes can be even better at family-owned companies than at large companies like Unilever, where you have hundreds and thousands of people where you work with. And it can move very slow. And sometimes a business, a family-owned company, for example, the Grundfos example, not a small company anymore, but still family-owned, and also Bang & Olufsen, their things move much faster because it's the family that take the decision, and there are not hundreds of departments that all have to agree first, and off you go, right? But then still they have to believe in it. It's their money, so they also want to see the return on invest, right? They just do not innovate because innovation is nice to do. It's something you do to get a return on invest on.
Yeah, sure. But I guess during pandemic times, a lot of the employees were also so much into reading, listening. We are hit all the time through all the media around with great knowledge and people like you talking and sharing. So I guess it's also bottom-up innovation. I can see that also amongst employees around. It's not only the leader that says, okay, he needs to say go, but I can also see that people within the company, they are already pushing the leaders also that they want to make a change. And the next generations are approaching, and they also want to have a purpose in their work. And it's not only like 8 hours time to work and to like do the Excel files and to get to only to the finance top of the aim of the company, but it's also more how we work, how we collaborate, what is the purpose of the company, how can we also influence the climate at the moment. Of course, it's a big subject, and the young generation has even more to say. So I guess it's the leader and the boss that says, okay, let's make a change, and he has to accept. But I can also see a change already that comes from the bottom.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think that is a nice thing about COVID. I also try to focus on the positive things of COVID. And indeed, this is absolutely something we see happening more and more in companies. Even in cities. I just read an article this morning that the city of Amsterdam has involved all their citizens because the goals, the CO2 emission goals of the city of Amsterdam are not be achieved with the measurements they took. And I've asked all the citizens of Amsterdam to contribute to those goals and come with ideas and come back to the local government of the city to come with ideas how they can improve the climate and the planet in Amsterdam, the quality of the water, the air, etc. So I completely agree with you. It is a democratization of innovation, and I think there's one of the good things about COVID is we have more time. I think COVID has led to much higher productivity, much higher efficiency. A lot of work is done online. So we get more time to educate ourselves, inform ourselves, and indeed that is what we see happening with many companies at the moment. So it's a nice combination, top down and bottom up, and that's a good thing. Yeah.
And I think also last question maybe in terms of pandemic also in COVID times, how would you position innovation, or how do you see it amongst the markets that you work at? With your clients, shall we now, is it the time to really implement innovation, and what kind of innovation should that be? Or we should rather as employees consider, I don't know, just keeping it work and keep it balanced and keep it safe, or like, what is the priority at the moment?
Yeah, that was probably a leading question, Eva. I felt it in your voice. No, we should definitely not just control and monitor and wait for something to happen. I have my own philosophy about that. I think it's the best time to innovate. I always believe in innovation, but now it's even a better time. The society shows us. For me, COVID is a sign that society needs a lot of changes. The healthcare system shows its boundaries. The economy, the capitalism shows its boundaries. The climate shows its boundaries. And it's referred to by Kate Hayward, a very important economical thinker in this world, as the donut economy, where there are absolutely environmental boundaries to everything we do. So I think it's the best time. It's the time to start with redefining the purpose of your company. It starts with looking at how can we contribute to a better business, of course, always, but how can we also contribute to a better society and a better planet? And companies who do that well and take the time in COVID to reposition themselves and with a new purpose that contributes to those triple bottom line objectives are definitely the most successful ones, is what I see. And of course, some companies are lucky, right? Our client Adria Mobile with the motorhomes and caravans, they have an increase of 180% demand because people do not fly, people do not go to Thailand anymore. They stay in their home country and they want to be safe in their own home on wheels. Are also afraid to go to hotels to get infected. So some companies have just by the fact of COVID a positive effect. But I think also the companies that have a negative effect, they're there as well. It's the best time now to rethink your strategy and look for new opportunities in the future. And I think there are enough big challenges around the world to be solved, and a company can play a role there. Every company.
Okay, Frans, thank you very much. I hope it was inspiring, and not only for me, but also for other representatives of employees in Poland and maybe also in your country. And I wish you many clients that are aware of all the challenges and they would like to develop solutions with you as with us, of course, here in Poland. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. It was a pleasure to hear your presentation and your opinions, and hope to see you soon in Poland.
Yes, the same indeed. Thanks again for the invitation and to be able to share these experiences. And I hope you get good feedback on the lecture today. And
Yeah.
indeed, hope to see you soon face to face in Poznan. Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. All the
Bye.
best. Bye.
Bye.
Jaki jest punkt wyjścia dla innowacyjnych produktów i usług? Potrzeba, przeczucie, idea i ludzie, którzy powiedzą: to możliwe, zróbmy to.
Ale entuzjazm to nie wszystko. Potrzebujesz maszyn i narzędzi.
Potrzebujesz materiałów i przestrzeni do próbowania.
Przestrzeni do zmieniania i próbowania na nowo.
Potrzebujesz w każdym punkcie skończonego produktu lub usługi.
I miejsca, by je skończyć.
A potem
Pokazać ludziom, przetestować i poprawić.
aż trafisz w punkt.